Today, we're diving into a really fascinating belief system, one that connects something you probably have in your kitchen right now to your financial well-being. The sources we looked at suggest the key to abundance might be a lot closer and way simpler than you think. Let's get right into it. So, the whole idea kicks off with this really provocative question. It basically challenges everything we're taught about success being all about the hustle. It suggests, what if there's an unseen energy in your own home that's actually blocking your success?
And that leads us to the core concept here, alignment. The idea isn't that you have to work harder, but that you need to get your personal energy in sync with, well, the frequency of abundance. So, what does that actually mean? It all revolves around a concept the sources call vibration.
So, this idea of vibration is basically an invisible frequency. It comes from our thoughts, our feelings, and even our physical spaces. The sources claim that if your home is broadcasting a signal of stress, chaos, or worry, it's literally repelling prosperity. You're like a living radio tower, broadcasting a signal out into the universe.
Okay, so if your home's vibration is off, how do you fix it? The sources point to a really surprising answer: salt. And no, not for your food, but as a sacred tool they call a divine amplifier.
I love this slide because it shows the two sides of the coin, right? On one hand, it's just stuff we use to melt ice or flavor our dinner. But on the other hand, in this context, it's seen as this incredibly powerful spiritual tool, something that can purify energy and symbolize a sacred promise. And believe it or not, this idea goes way, way back.
And here you can see just how significant salt has been throughout history. It wasn't just a seasoning, it was actually used as currency. That's where we get our word salary. And biblically, it was a huge deal, a symbol of a permanent pact with God, and even used as an agent of healing, like when the prophet Elisha apparently purified poisoned water with it.
And this right here, this quote is presented as the absolute cornerstone of the whole belief. According to the sources, when people are called the salt of the earth, it creates this direct link between us and this mineral's higher purpose: to preserve, to purify, to add value.
Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get into the how. The sources lay out a very specific ritual that's designed to cleanse your space and, align its energy. Here's how it's supposed to work. So the very first thing, the most important step, is to prepare what they call the temple, your bedroom. The sources are really clear about this. They say this is where your spirit recharges. So if this space is chaotic, your finances will be chaotic. Simple as that.
Now, what do you need for this? It's actually super simple, but each item is deeply symbolic. You need a clear glass, which represents clarity of purpose. You need pure water, the cleansing vessel. And then exactly 3 tablespoons of salt, the purifying agent itself.
All right, here are the steps to the ritual itself. Pretty straightforward. You fill the glass about 3/4 full, you add the 3 tablespoons of salt, and then, this part's key, you stir it clockwise for 3 minutes. That clockwise motion is said to represent forward movement. And while you're stirring, you speak your intention. Then you just place it near your bed, but never under it. Now, this is the exact phrase the sources say to repeat over and over. And speaking it out loud is a huge deal in this framework because in this belief system, your words have vibrational power. You're literally programming the water with your intention.
So you don't just set it and forget it. The next step is to watch it. And get this, if the water starts to get cloudy, the sources say that's actually a good sign. It means the salt is doing its job and absorbing all that negative energy. When that happens, you just flush that water down the toilet and start fresh with a new glass. Okay, so you've done the ritual. You're maintaining it. What happens next? What's the promised payoff? Well, the sources describe a pretty clear sequence of changes, from your environment all the way to your bank account. The very first thing you're supposed to notice is a shift in the room itself. Practitioners say that heavy, stagnant feeling just disappears. The air literally feels lighter, cleaner.
So once the room feels better, you start to feel better. The sources claim that with the space cleared, you'll start to sleep more deeply, and you'll wake up feeling a sense of peace instead of that familiar morning anxiety.
And what happens when you're well rested and at peace? Your mind clears up. The belief here is that this new mental clarity opens you up to receive new ideas, new insights, and to finally spot opportunities that were right in front of you all along. And this all builds to the part everyone's probably waiting for: the tangible, real-world results. The sources suggest that once your energy is aligned, you become a kind of magnet for abundance. This could show up as unexpected money, helpful new connections, or even a promotion at work.
So let's just pull back for a second and tie this all together. It's really important to understand that these aren't just random steps. It's a practice that's based on a very specific philosophy.
And I think this quote really gets to the heart of it. The sources are very careful to point out, this isn't supposed to be magic. It's not hocus pocus. It's framed as a conscious, intentional act of aligning your own personal energy with what they see as the universal laws of abundance.
The term they use for this whole practice is spiritual science. And what that really means is the belief that you can actively partner with the natural elements around you, like salt, to bring harmony back into your life, which in turn creates the perfect environment for prosperity to flow in.
And honestly, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. Your inner world creates your outer world. Your energy determines your experience. You attract what you radiate. The salt ritual is just presented as one very practical tool to help you consciously shift that radiation.
And that leaves us right back where we started. According to this perspective, the power to totally transform your financial reality might not be some complicated secret. It might just be hiding in plain sight in something as simple and as sacred as a grain of salt.